Hi, everybody. It's Suzanne Evans here. Oh my gosh, I should have done my hair. I should have done something to my hair. Yeah, this is Suzanne Evans filling in for Shanda Sumpter. Yeah, that says about all I need to say. And I'm here.
Let's go to Q&A.
Let's just go to Q&A. Oh my gosh, yeah. I'm here with, anyway, I've got a house full of people. So if you're hearing sounds in the background, I've got Adrienne Evans is here. Adrienne, can you say good morning? Say hi. Hi, I've got Jimbo Marshall here.
Hi.
I have our amazing helper in the house, Rayleigh. You'll probably see her walk by. And I can't make my hair level on one side. Okay, oh my gosh. Anyway, so here's what I'm going to talk to you about today. So Shanda's, I don't know, she's like in Barbados, in the Bahamas, in Paris, and
living that Shanda life.
Living that Shanda life. You know, Shanda teaches Flex Week. Don't let Shanda fool you. Everything is flexing. It's all a flex. It's all a flex. But I'm here this morning. I'm so excited. I'm going to be with you the next 20 minutes or so. And I am, oh gosh, they're asking me if I'm on. It says I'm on and people are responding. People are commenting. Her team is asking if I'm here. Oh, she said it was delayed, so I freaked out. Oh, Adrienne's talking about it. So anyway, I'm going to be with you in the next 20 minutes, and you are going to hear a little background noise. Actually, Jimbo, who is a good friend and our creative director in our studios here too, because one of the topics we want to talk on today, he is really an expert in. And Jimbo, let me give you a tip. You got to pay him attention for him not to talk. You got to hold the plank. He's a creative director, but not the best babysitter. And I want to talk to you actually about presence and what that means. I was going to joke and say that I was going to give away all of Shanda's beauty tips because I've watched so many of her morning coffees, and it's always shocking because I'm like, it's 6 a.m. and she looks so amazing. It's 9 a.m. where I am, and this is the best I could do. For real. But we're going to talk about presence this morning, and we're going to talk about how you have to show up, whether you're doing a Facebook Live or you're walking into a networking event. And all joking aside, they keep me here not because I'm pretty, but because I'm really smart and charming. And I'm not joking when I say that. Charisma is everything. You can be the fattest, ugliest, dumbest, laziest person on the planet. And if you are filled with charisma, your life will be easier and your bank account will be better.
Oh my God.
Right?
Preach it.
Right?
I teach on that all the time.
And we're going to talk about some charisma tips here in a moment, but I'm actually being serious. I'm trying to be funny, but I'm also being serious. Charisma and having a presence is everything. And first of all, if you don't know me, I should say this. I'm obviously dear friends with Shanda and adore Shanda. And Shanda I met, I got to coach Shanda for many years, which was such an honor and such a blessing. And I'll give you my 20-second version of who Suzanne is. Suzanne Evans, a New York Times bestselling author. Woo! Aren't you excited? I've been on the Inc. 500, 5,000, 5 years in a row. I went from secretary to seven-figure. I have a multiple seven-figure business. And I love, we're actually getting ready to launch our new brand, Driven Inc. And I love helping small business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs go from where they are to where they want to be, adding multiple 6 and 7 figures to their bottom line. And a big part of that is presence. And so many people they end up isolating themselves, and they end up being a secret. And you cannot be a success and be a secret. And so you've got to learn to communicate with people. You've got to learn to talk to people. I had a client who sent me a video a few days ago that they wanted me to watch. They may very well be one of the smartest people I've ever coached. They are so smart. Half of what they do goes over my head. And it's interesting too, but they're not interesting. So even if your content is really interesting, even if you are, if you're the best at what you do, you have to be engaging, charismatic. You have to learn to make love to every camera you're in front of. And let me tell you what cameras are. Cameras are the camera that we're on right now. Cameras are, do you need to say hi? This is charisma. Say hey. Can you count for them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's charisma, folks. But the camera is a Facebook Live. The camera is a video camera. The camera is walking into a room where there's networking folks. The camera is standing on a stage and talking. The camera is being on a sales conversation on the phone. Stop and think about that for a second. The camera is being on a sales conversation on the phone. So you have to step into every situation like it's the first time you've met everyone. It's the only time you'll meet them. And you've got to learn to wow people in a moment. All right, Jimbo, I'm actually going to switch with you because Jimbo's going to give some charisma tips when he's directing people on camera. And guys, don't think about this being video tips. It's not. This is actually life tips. How do you do this in a sales call? How do you do this at a networking event? How do you do this on stage? So he's going to give a few tips, and then I'm actually going to take some Q&A about anything you want, anything you want to ask me. Ask me personal questions, ask me business questions, ask me charisma and presence questions, ask me questions about stickers, because we're really into stickers. Do we love stickers?
This is next generation stickers, actually.
Oh, you got to get up? Okay. All right, we're switching with Jimbo. All right, Jimbo, go, go, go.
All right, cool. Well, good morning, everybody, and thank you for being here. I mean, this is an amazing feat that you can show up at 6 a.m. on the West Coast, even 9 a.m. on the East Coast here. And here's what I will tell you about performance. It all starts with the eyes. You've got to be excited with your eyes. You've got to intentionally charge up your eyes, and as you're facing a camera, you want to talk to the device. And one of the activities I will give some of my clients, I was thinking about calling my clients pupils from now on instead. Some people would call them students.
You're going to call them pupils.
My pupils.
There you go. All right, go ahead. We'll let you do it this morning.
One of the exercises you can do is literally just talk to an object. And you can also have this idea in your head of, regardless of what's going on. I hear Adrian, I got Suzanne over here. Regardless of what's going on, you keep your focus on the object, right? And you talk to it as if it's alive. And that's one of the techniques that you can do to kind of get over this idea, because a lot of people, when they come into the studio, they're in their head about performing. Obviously, they're in the room with me. I'm directing them, but it's still like this conscious thing, right? That you have to decide, I'm going to emote. So it starts with the eyes. And the next thing I want to talk about is just what I mentioned, emote. You have to emote. You have to use your emotions. You have to use physicality. You have to use some body language.
And you have to even have to do that when you're on the phone.
Yeah,
people,
I stand up on my calls.
You have to walk around.
Yeah.
You have to stand up. You have to have energy. You have to use your hands as if they were really in the room with you.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it really is, at the end of the day, it's being able to play this great big game of pretend.
I love that.
It really is just this great big game of, I'm going to pretend that everyone is focused on me. They're listening to me. They're engaged. They're taking notes. I'm giving some of my best material. And I think the other thing that people have to keep in mind with performance is it's okay to be nervous. If you have little butterflies, like before you go on stage, before you go on Facebook Live, before you make a video, if you have butterflies, that doesn't mean anything bad. That's actually okay. Embrace them, go with them, acknowledge the fact that your body's reacting to the situation, and it will actually be fine. The thing to keep in mind, all of that will become normal if you just continue to do it enough. The truth is, there's nothing normal about showing up on a Monday morning at your friend/boss's house and going, okay, talk to people, and just assume they are there.
Yeah,
right? There's
but you gotta do it.
Right? There's nothing normal about it. So you really want to be in this mindset of, I've got to put on a show. I've got to entertain. I've got to engage them. I've got to assume that there's probably something more interesting going on in their life than me, and I'm going to command the attention.
I love that. So I'm gonna flip back to me. Hello. Sorry, we're flipping all over the place. You're seeing a little bit of my house. There's my kitchen. I have a good kitchen.
You have an amazing.
I have a really good
This house
kitchen.
is an amazing.
Really good kitchen. It's dark and gloomy here today. I wish you could see our view. We have a gorgeous view of the inlet and the water, but whoo, man, it is a gloomy day here in South Carolina. Okay, so a couple of other things. So when he was talking about, you got to engage in this big game of pretend, I want to talk to you about that a little bit. So many people are waiting to be successful to get the confidence that they need for people to want to work with them. And there's no way that will ever work. It's the opposite. And a lot of people go, fake it till you make it. Well, I'm not really into faking it till you make it. I mean, if you're going to be teaching people about nutrition and getting off their diabetes medication, let's not fake that until you make that, right? Let's know what the hell we're talking about. If you're going to help people with business and money, don't fake that till you make it, right? Let's make sure you know how to help people. But I'm going to give you a tip that's going to blow your mind. This is your tip of the day. If you don't walk away with anything else, this is it. Faith it until you make it. Faith. Faith it until you make it. And what I mean by that is have the faith that you know enough, you have studied enough, you have learned enough, you know how to help people, and that you are constantly gaining experience. So when I came out of the gate, building my business, I knew that I had been in a job for 10 years where we had opened Broadway shows, and I knew that I knew how to open a show. I didn't do it, but I'd been a part of those teams. I'd watched it happen, and I knew that I knew enough that I could impart that on other people and get them a good result. So you faith it until you make it. The other thing I want to talk to you about is this idea of belief, right? This idea of belief. One of the things I love about having a 20-month-old is they truly believe they can do anything. They believe they can fly. They believe they can jump. They believe that they can, they can stack the blocks 100 tall, and they never sit around and question, can I do this? And if I stack these blocks too high, what will happen? If they fall, what will happen? If they fall, will I be able to stack them back up again? Guys, we are living in adult bodies overthinking everything. It is all possible. It is all doable. It is all just on the edge of happening if we stop thinking and start doing. And that's also that presence piece, right? Most of the time, sure, and there's introverts, there's extroverts, there's shy people, there's not shy people. That actually has nothing to do with it. Some of the most amazing, biggest introverts I've ever met in my life are some of the most charismatic people. They just approach conversation differently. They are still engaging. They are still the person that when they walk into the room, everybody turns to. But they're doing it in a different way because they may be shy or they may be an introvert. So all of this engagement I'm talking about this morning all comes back to how certain are you that you can make a difference? What do you believe around your own value? How clear are you that what you are doing is going to have an impact on people? And you don't have to have impacted thousands yet. You don't have to have made $1 million. You don't have to have known everything or been everything or had every degree. But you do have to come into every situation with the belief and the understanding that the impact you are making, that the work you are doing, that what you are doing is going to have an impact on the world. I was sitting with myself. Well, who else are you going to sit with? You've always got to sit with yourself. But I was sitting with myself this weekend, and I was actually just thinking about my life, and I've got a lot of multiple things going on. I have a move going on. We're actually moving from South Carolina to North Carolina, and I'm trying to sell houses, and I've got an office I have to move, and I have some people that are moving and some people that aren't going to move with us, team members. You know, when you've got we have 16 full-time team members, and you've got to 5,000 square foot office space and you got 3 houses here. A move is a really big thing. It affects the business, it affects your life. And I had this moment where I was like, okay, what do I was just thinking about what I wanted around a certain area. And I went, this is going to work out, right? Anything I've ever wanted has happened and it's worked out. And that's not magical thinking. I don't even believe it's manifestation thinking. I believe it is complete practical, being willing to do the work of what it is you want, but also having an understanding, right, that faith will get you there eventually. It may not get you on the road that you thought you were going to take. It may not get you in a way that you thought you were going to get there, but faith is the most powerful tool you will ever have. And, it's that great Martin Luther King quote where, even if you can't see the staircase, you take the step. And I was sitting and I was thinking, why is it that anything I've ever wanted, I've gotten? The family I want, the homes I want, the location I want, the business I want, the people I want. And the biggest part of that has been stepping out with the understanding that I know that I'm making a difference in the world. Stepping out in the understanding that what I am doing has an impact. Stepping out in the understanding that it may not be happening right now, but I am faithing it until I am making it, because it is on the way. It is coming, because if I have the desire to have it, the means is already in place to get it. So we started off today talking about presence. The reason I can show up with no makeup on, not being perfect, being overweight, my kid talking in the background, is because I have so much faith that this morning is going to impact somebody. It's going to touch somebody, that I have the presence to make sure you pay attention to me, right? You got a lot of distraction this morning. You've got a lot going on in your life, in your house too. But I have the presence because I have the faith to know that we are making a difference together this morning. So I have about 4 or 5 minutes left, and I would love to take questions. So the way that I like to present a question is, a lot of times people go, oh, I didn't come prepared with the question. You always have a question, right? You're in front of a $6 million business owner. You're bound to have a question, right? But let me help you figure out how to ask your question. And this may be the best part, is you want to ask yourself, what's my biggest challenge right now? What am I most afraid of right now? So if you just say, what's my biggest challenge right now? Or what am I most afraid of? A question will come from that. So, all right, let me see. Let's see. Somebody's asking, where am I moving to North Carolina? Karen, I'm moving to Chapel Hill. So you're in Raleigh, so not very far from you. I'm originally from Fayetteville, Karen. Hey, Sherry Weaver. She's saying, you are so impactful. Thank you. Thank you, Sherry. It's so good to see you. How long did it take you to get to, I'm not sure, Karen, what the question is. How did you start having faith in yourself? You don't start having faith in yourself. Great question, Ashley. You wake up one morning and go, if I had faith, what would it look like? And I started to look at other people who had faith, and I went, just behave that way. So you don't start having faith until you behave in a faithful way. Let me say that again. You don't start having faith in yourself until you behave in a faithful way. Rosemary said, you have to look at the dot on the camera. I seem to look at me on it. No, you always should look at the dot. I forget to, and I drop my eyes. But if you want to really look like you're engaging with folks, try to keep your eye on the dot. Absolutely. Do you have any, time tricks? Christina, I think it got garbled there when you were typing it, so you may have to say it again. Type it again. Let's see. Do you have any golden nuggets for tips for enrollment? Yes, I actually do. Here are 3 golden nuggets for tips for enrollment. Ask 100 people a day. You don't want to hear that. You want it to be easier. You want there to be some kind of formula. I ask 100 people a day. What does that mean? When I went to the grocery store, I thought, how can I engage with people here? When I was sitting in my office, I went, I've got to outbound call at least 50 people today. I would then make sure that I had a speaking gig every other day so I could get in front of those people. I would make sure that I went to multiple networking events a week. So over the course of a week, ask on the minimum 250 to the ideal 500 people a week to work with you, and you will never struggle with money in your life. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is when you do get in front of people, have presence. It's actually what we talked about this morning. Have faith. People don't want to work with people, nor get advice from people, nor hang out with people who are uncertain. Certainty always closes the sale. The person with the most certainty always wins. The person with the most certainty always gets the gig. The person who's moving the fastest with the most certainty always gets the best result. And the third enrollment piece is when you are on the phone with people and you're actually having an enrollment conversation, become a master of objections. There's only going to be 3 objections: spouse, money, time. Those will only be the 3 objections. Make sure that you are the best money coach on the planet, even if you're a yoga teacher. Make sure you're the best money coach on the planet, even if you are a nutritionist, because you will have to coach people around money. All right, some other questions. Let's see. We've got a couple of minutes left. Nancy said, love this. It did touch me. I'm so glad, Nancy. I'm so glad that we connected this morning. How long did it take you to get over yourself? Immediately. And let me tell you why, Karen. I said, I wrote this down in a notebook the very first year that I started my business. I wrote, if you're willing to make a fool of yourself, this is all going to work out. I am willing to look stupid all the time. I am willing to be the dumbest person in the room. I am willing to ask the question that I'm not sure that I should be asking, or maybe it's a stupid question. If you are willing to look like a fool, it will always work out. It will always work out. So I'm coming into every situation going, I may be the clown, but at the end of this, I'm going to be the wealthiest clown in here who made the most impact. Let's see, golden nuggets from enrollment conversations. We got, hi, Suzanne. You always give great advice. Thank you, Lisa. My question is, I've just come off a launch of an 8-week program, $997. What can I offer next to generate income without exhausting my list? If you've just come off of a $997 launch, I would immediately jump in and do one-on-one conversations with those folks in the $997 launch and look for 5% upgrades. In every launch of whatever you sell, 5% of those people should be upgrading immediately to do something else with you. Sherry Weaver, do you have any books, courses, or anything more we can tap into? You are addicting. Oh, thanks, Sherry. Yes, you know what? I have 2 things. First, go to SuzanneEvans.org. That's my site, and you can hang out there. And we have an event coming up, and this is Shanda's people, and Shanda's people are my people, and I adore Shanda. If anybody wants a complimentary, how about that? There you go. How nice is that of me this morning? If anybody wants a complimentary ticket to my event, you can email my team at help at SuzanneEvans.org, O-R-G, help at SuzanneEvans.org. And I did this last time too. I'm one of those people, I immediately answer questions. If somebody has a personal question for me or you want to ask me a coaching question, email me at help at SuzanneEvans.org. Make sure it's O-R-G, SuzanneEvans.org. Oh, thanks. Somebody's putting it up there. So help at SuzanneEvans.org. And yeah, we'll tell you how we can hang out. If you have a coaching question, I'm happy to answer it. And I'll gift you a ticket to my event because I'd love to meet you. Love to have you there. Okay, 1 or 2 more questions. Have presence. People don't want to hang. Okay, we're repeating. How long have you been a coach? I have been a coach for 10 years. This year is a decade in the coaching business. Before that, I was a assistant producer to Broadway theater, which is a fancy word for secretary, but I worked in the Broadway theater industry for 10 years, and I really did go from secretary making $45,000 a year to $1 million business in under 3 years to a $6 million business in under 5 years. Oh, Lisa, thank you. She's saying she went to our event last year. Check it out. Awesome. I think I got to every single question, so let me recap in 30 seconds here. You must have presence. You must know that presence is not about Facebook Lives or videos. Presence is about you being on the phone with people and faithing it until you make it. Having the belief and faith in yourself that you are impacting people, that you are making a difference, that it is happening. And as Jimbo said, it's about the eye contact. It is about emoting. It's about inflection. It's about making sure that you seem more excited than they are. Remember, my definition of sales is the transference of inspiration. The transference of inspiration. So if you can get inspired by something and you can get other people to be inspired by something, you'll never have to sell a day in your life because you are just transferring inspiration, and that is so much easier than sales. So presence is sales. Write that down. That is your takeaway for the day. Presence is sales and presence is faith. Presence is sales and presence is faith. Go out, have tons of faith today. Use your presence to make a huge difference in the world. Thank you, Shanda, for letting me hang out. If you've got any questions, you can email us at help@SuzanneEvans.org. I would love to hear from every single one of you. And until I see you again, hugs and hell yes. Bye, everybody. Have a great day.